On the edge of the new century, a new kind of total entertainment experience is born. Welcome to Total Immersion, a behind-the-scenes look at the world's most technologically advanced 21st century theme park. Universal Studios Islands of Adventure.
Well, in the early days of this project, we were looking for something that would appeal to kids.
And we saw him, the Cat in the Hat.
Make that cat go away. You do not want to play. He should not be about when your mother is out.
You're nowhere without Dr. Seuss. So very early on in this process, we started working with the notion of bringing to life the books and writings of Dr. Seuss. From there, we went to work with Dr. Seuss's widow, Audrey Geisel. Audrey was very concerned with how the characters would be portrayed, how these stories would be brought to life.
I always pick up my playthings, and so I will show you another good trick that I know.
I actually had no idea what I was going to get into when I started opening the books, thinking, oh, this is a kid's book. Yeah, we can build this. But when you really start getting into what it means to do that, you realize that a lot of what Geisel drew defies gravity, and it's really not supposed to exist in this world, so we actually had to come up with a way to do that.
Our greatest challenge in building Seuss was really overcoming the propensity for engineers and builders to build everything at right angles and at 90 degrees. There's not a straight line in the entire 12 acres of Seuss Landing.
Construction is pretty much black and white. When you're dealing with structural issues and all the life safety issues, that's all black and white stuff. And the attraction development folks, they're not black and white. They think in shades of pastels and everything in between.
When Ed Garside first came on the project, I sat him down and I said, okay, I know what you're used to doing, but bear with me because everything that you've known up to this date, you're going to have to cast aside. And I've been breaking the rules on this project for a long time. You're going to have to come along with me and break the rules.
The relationship between the artsy folks and construction, there's a real hard line between them. I'm not allowed to cross their line, but they're allowed to cross my line.
In order to get the really curvy, wonky, Seussian facades, the building exteriors, what we had to do is use styrofoam, which is a material we see in everyday life. Most of what you see in Seuss Landing is made from styrofoam. These blocks of foam right here turned into sculpted roofs like this big top tent right here. We actually took big chunks of styrofoam, put them up on all the fronts of the buildings, and literally carved them with very dull knives. And we got the nice curves going through Seuss Landing.
The carving takes a lot of time. It starts with using a chainsaw, then they'll start using knives, and then they'll go ahead and start scraping it. We are the only place in Florida where it snows throughout the entire summer.
So that's how we were able to get all these wonderful curves that go in all different directions.
Even the palm trees in Seuss Landing are curvy. Unfortunately, we were able to benefit from a rather tragic thing, Hurricane Andrew. The palm trees that were knocked over continued to grow on the ground in very strange forms. We were able to purchase those trees, brought them here to Seuss Landing, erected them, and they maintained those kind of wonky shapes.
When we went about designing Seuss Landing, we were thinking of the children. So a lot of things that you see throughout Seuss Landing are built purposely at a lower level. You have little fences and you have little steps and you have little signs that are lower down. When a child walks into Seuss Landing, they're really going to feel like this is their land because the words are easy to read in here and the colors are wonderful and the characters are actually very huggable.
So each vehicle has a little something that you can do. You can turn the head or something. But everybody loves this one, and when I do it, you'll know why.
John Russ, the soundtrack producer for Seuss Landing and actually the whole park, sat down with myself and the designers, and we actually had conversations about what Seuss Landing would sound like.
In Seuss Landing, we tried to do something very unique. We took all the drawings of Dr. Seuss, and every time we could find a drawing of a musical instrument, we put it aside. Took all these musical instruments, they were all these mutated horns, and we said, what if we made these instruments? What if we go to garage sales, cut up old trombones, solder them onto end of oboes, and just create this entire palette of Seussian instruments?
So they're not instruments of this world, and they create the Seussian sound. When we were there looking at the carousel and Audrey Geisel walked in, I was watching her face because that was really kind of the moment that our work was going to be judged by. And when she first walked in, her expression was sheer awe. She walked in like a child would walk in. They kind of take it all in, and they don't really know what to say. And the really nice thing, actually, at the very end, she came up to me and took my hand and said, "Thank you so much." And I said, "Audrey, thank you, because you've let us make these books. You've let me spend 4 years having fun making this project happen." And I say, and I'm like, "No, thank you." And I really meant it. It was really sincere. Because you become so passionate about this and you're fighting day and night, 24/7, you do get to the point where you're really protecting everything. But there's still that kind of hard transition where you really do have to let it go. I know as soon as the kids come in, that's really going to be the moment where you go, you know what, this is yours. Go have fun.